Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to your daily Wallops weather briefing for Wednesday, January 15th. We were seeing some rather dense fog out there this morning. Visibilities were less than a quarter statute mile. That fog has since started to break up. We're actually starting to see a little bit of blue sky out there in the last 15 or 20 minutes or so. And that fog will slowly decrease as we go throughout the day, and then seeing some sunshine as we get towards the afternoon. And then we are going to be seeing another day of above average temperature before we see finally some colder air moving into the area tomorrow. Let's take a quick look at our satellite loop just so you can see this pretty large patch of fog that's developed across the eastern mid-Atlantic, stretching from the central Virginia all the way across much of the Delmarva. You can see it is starting to erode just a little bit, but it is still hanging tight in some areas, so I wouldn't expect this fog to really go away until we get towards the lunchtime. And even then, it does look like we're still going to be having some patchy low clouds throughout much of the day today, and not really seeing this low cloudiness depart until we get into some more drier and colder conditions tomorrow. So taking a look at our surface analysis, we do have some weak high pressure building over the area, and with all that rain we received yesterday, about just under 3/4 of an inch, we are seeing those very moist boundary layer conditions across the mid-Atlantic region, and that is all coming together to give us those foggy conditions that we have been seeing this morning. Going to continue to see that weak high pressure linger in the area. That's going to give us just some pretty light winds today, as well as that continued low cloudiness. And then we are going to be seeing a low pressure start to move eastward along this here stationary front. It's starting to develop across the Midwest this morning here. It is going to increase in speed as we go throughout the day and into tonight, and then it's going to race off to the northeast and really kind of blow up off of the northeast coast. Not expecting any precipitation with that with the front that's expected to pass tonight associated with that low, as it's going to be moisture starved and still weak at that point. Can't rule out a slight chance of a sprinkle in the pre-dawn hours of tomorrow, but the main story will be the gusty winds that are going to develop by around lunchtime tomorrow into the afternoon and evening, as that low really deepens off of the northeast coast, which we will show in our model in a little bit. Taking a brief look at our upper level winds, seeing northwesterly winds fairly light, only running around 5 to 10 knots or so at the surface, up to and then increasing to around 25 knots just above the surface up to 6,000 feet before winds shift westerly, increasing from 40 knots at 9,000 feet up to around 55 knots between the 20 and 25,000 foot layers. Seeing a freezing level this morning between 10 and 11,000 feet. Taking a look at our forecast for today, going to be seeing a high this afternoon at 54 degrees, so still looking at high temperatures about 10 degrees above average, and that will continue tomorrow before we finally start to see a pattern change as we go into the weekend and into next week. We are going to be seeing those winds, like I said, fairly light today, northwesterly around 3 to 8 knots throughout much of the morning hours. Then they'll become variable early this afternoon before shifting southeasterly by the mid to late afternoon hours at 4 to 9 knots. We'll see those southerly winds increase as that system approaches the area throughout the nighttime. That's going to allow our low temperature to actually occur early in the evening, expecting another mild low of 45, and then as those southerly to southwesterly winds increase overnight, we'll see those temperatures also increase as well. And we'll see those winds become southwesterly at 9 to 14 knots by the pre-dawn hours of Thursday, then by the mid-morning hours seeing them become more westerly around 11 to 16 knots and gusty, and by the late morning hours those wind gusts should increase, and we will be seeing a wind advisory by the time we get to the late morning hours of Thursday. Also going to be seeing our high temperature tomorrow occur early in the day as we have that dry cold front passage. That's going to cause our temperatures to plummet once we get into the afternoon hours tomorrow. We are going to be seeing those clouds increase tonight as we get that front approaching the area. Like I said, it's going to be pretty dry out there, not too much dynamic, so it's really just going to increase our cloudiness for a bit in the pre-dawn hours between midnight and 6 a.m. And then very slight chance of an isolated shower, only looking about a 10% chance of seeing any rain anywhere across the Delmarva tonight. Taking a look at our terminal forecast, going to continue to see those low clouds, ceilings below 500 feet for the next couple hours. Then those should start to raise a little bit, but still going to be seeing scattered cloud decks between about 700 and 1,000 feet through the early afternoon hours, with a broken cirrus deck at 25,000 feet. After sunset, we're going to start to see those clouds increase again as that front approaches the area, becoming scattered to broken at 2,500 and broken to overcast near 5,000 feet just before midnight. And after midnight, could be seeing those ceilings down around 500 feet again briefly, especially if we get a sprinkler or two, and then even below that at times. And then by 6 a.m. Thursday, we should start to see that colder, drier air start to filter in. That'll help to slowly decrease the cloud cover as we go into the late morning hours, becoming scattered at 1,000 feet, broken at 3,500 and 25,000 by 6 a.m. tomorrow. We're still seeing tides normal this morning along the Delmarva Atlantic coast. Let's take a quick look at our long-term model here to show you how this pattern is going to progress as we go throughout the next several days. We're going to have a high pressure currently today, and that's going to keep our winds fairly light, like I said. Also going to keep our temperatures rather mild as well. As we go into tonight, we are going to be seeing some rain start to increase across the Appalachian associated with that front, and as that front approaches the area, we are going to see those winds increase from the south, like I mentioned, which will help to slowly increase temperatures throughout the overnight period. And you can see there is a little bit of precipitation around the Delmarva on the map, but really nothing that's doesn't look like it's going to actually form over the Delmarva as we go into tomorrow morning. As we go into the lunchtime hour, that's tomorrow, that's when we'll really start to see those winds pick up as that colder, drier air mass starts to move in, associated with this large Arctic high pressure that's going to start building into the northeastern United States as we go into Friday. As we go throughout the day, Thursday evening into Thursday night, expect those gusty winds to continue as high pressure continues to build in. Friday morning, going to see a drastic difference in what our temperatures have been for morning lows, as our morning lows are going to plummet into the upper 20s. So back to more winter-like temperatures as we go into the end of the work week, into the weekend. And Friday's going to be very chilly as well. Those temperatures are really going to struggle to even get up to 40 degrees on Friday with this very cold, broad area high pressure that is going to settle in across the northeast. As we go into this weekend, we are going to be seeing another system approach the area Friday night into Saturday. There's going to be a warm front moving across the area early Saturday morning. Can't rule out seeing maybe a snowflake or two with this warm front as it approaches. That's going to be more likely in Salisbury and areas north of that. Not expecting any precipitation down here at Wallops, though. We are going to be seeing those temperatures rise throughout the day Saturday and even into Saturday evening as we're in this warm sector ahead of this large low pressure approaching the east coast. Not really expecting any rain, though, until we get into about 5 o'clock or maybe a little later than that Saturday. So Saturday should be mainly dry across the region, and then we will see that rain develop Saturday night, given some moderate to perhaps briefly heavy rain with that frontal passage throughout the entire night Saturday. It looks like it's going to be very rainy, with the max temperature actually likely occurring closer to midnight Saturday night. And as we go into Sunday, we are going to be seeing those temperatures finally fall. This low pressure system really is going to be the onset of our big pattern change for next week. Expect some breezy, cold winds on Sunday as we get some large Arctic high pressure starting to build in, tightening up that pressure gradient, bringing in that colder and drier air mass on Sunday. And then as we go in the middle of next week, we'll get those that cold air mass really settling in across the eastern half of the country, and that's going to bring our temperatures below normal for a change. So expect some very cold morning lows, even in the teens at times as we get to the middle of the next week, and seeing those high temperatures even struggle to get into the mid-30s on some days. And then we'll have to be watching a little bit of a system as we go towards the middle to end of next week, likely around Thursday, that we'll be keeping an eye on that could be developing off the southeast coast. But very little model agreement on this system that this model is portraying right now. So taking an overview look at our 7-day forecast, seeing a high of 54 degrees today, going to be seeing an early low tonight of 45, and then those temperatures increasing. Going to be seeing a high of 56 tomorrow, likely before noon, as we get that colder air mass moving in. That'll allow those temperatures to plummet with some gusty winds, especially Thursday afternoon and a Thursday night. And then we're going to see that quite a big difference. We'll see almost a 20-degree difference in our low temperature between tonight and tomorrow night, with that low of 27 for early Friday morning. And then a very cold day on Friday is expected of 38 degrees. Could be seeing wind chill factors in the low teens possible early Friday morning, and see those wind chills into the upper 20s on Friday with some breezier winds continuing. Seeing a very cold morning Saturday as we get that cold high pressure to the north. The low is expected to be around 24 degrees as we get some calm winds that could allow those temperatures to drop maybe even a couple degrees below that, depending on if the conditions are ideal. Then Saturday, it's going to be dry for most of the day. We're going to get into that warm sector of that system with those temperatures rising up just one more time. Looks like our last day for a while on Saturday that we'll see those above average temperatures. And then seeing that cold front passage Saturday night with that rain. It does look like a pretty rainy night for all of Saturday night, and ending by around sunrise Sunday. It looks like our rain will be out of here. And then we'll start to see those temperatures drops, expecting a early day high of 46 degrees on Sunday. And then for Monday and Tuesday, expect those temperatures to barely get above freezing. And you can see those very, very cold low temperatures expected as well, especially as we get into the middle of next week, Tuesday morning, expecting that low to be into the upper teens. That'll do it for your daily weather briefing. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:15 a.m. and at 10 a.m. Have a wonderful day.